I welcome you all to my fifth lecture of this Unit 5 Primary Manufacturing Process. In this lecture, we are going to cover the forging process and the types of forging process. So, last lecture we discussed about the three different types of forging process that we have. So, firstly, start with open die forging. In last lecture, I told you in open die forging we have a die which is used to apply load on the billet. Billet means the workpiece that is in between the die. We apply load with the help of hydraulic or mechanical means, and when we apply load, the deformation take place, and the height of this portion decreases, and die of this portion increases. So this is how open die forging works. It is the simplest example of die forging process, and it is a very crude operation that we perform in manufacturing process for changing the shape, or you can say the increasing the dia and for decreasing the length of a billet. So under ideal condition where there is no friction between the billet and die surface, the shape should be like this of the workpiece. But in real condition, the shape look like this. This is called barreling effect, and this is because of the friction between the surfaces. In actual forging operation, the deformation will not be homogeneous, as I showed in previous slide, as bulging occurs because of the presence of friction at the die billet interface. The friction opposes the movement of the billet at the surface. That's why this barreling form occurs. And if we increase the height of the workpiece, this barreling effect increases. And if the height of this workpiece is very less, then this effect of barreling will be less as compared to more higher component. So this is the three stages of open die forging: startup compression, partial compression, and completed compression. Now closed die forging. So you can see the difference here. In open die forging, we don't have any coverage from this side, and the material is free to flow in the lateral direction in the terms of open die forging. But in case of closed die forging, we have a very limited amount of space between the dies for the flow of the material, and this is basically used where we want to where we want a particular shape, and the negative image of the die just just come over the workpiece, and this is basically used where we want a particular kind of impression over the workpiece. So we make negative image on the on the die, and then we press this die, and after performing this operation, that impression will be imprinted over the workpiece. So that's why closed die forging, called as impression die forging, is performing in dies which has the impression that will be imparted to the workpiece through forming. Now in the intermediate, it says the initial billet deforms partially, giving a bulge shape. And now when we compress this material, the excess material comes from this direction, and this is called flash. And this is upper die, this is lower die. These are the three intermediate positions of closed die forging. First one is the starting stage, intermediate stage, and final stage. Again, if you want, this operation may be performed in multi-stage. Multi-stage means firstly we compress this thing a certain limit here, and in next die we will perform compression for other extent, and in third die again we compress for the material for other extent. So this closed die forging can be performed in multi-stage operation. So there we will use a separate die combinations. Now the third type of forging, that is flashless forging. Flashless forging is different if you compare the open die forging and closed die forging, because in open die forging and closed die forging we have some air space between the die for the flow process of the material. But in case of flashless forging, we don't have any space to flow the excess material. Here what happened, the volume of the material and the cavity should be same. This is the condition for flashless forging. In flashless forging, most important is that the workpiece volume must be equal the space in the die cavity within a very close tolerance, because we don't have any space to move out the material. That's why this is must that the volume of material and the volume of cavity is same. So now, if the starting billet size is too large, excessive pressure will cause damage to the die and the press. If the volume is not same, and the billet size is too large, then the die and the press both can be damaged. So that's why we should take care of this volume thing, and the volume should be same here in case of flashless forging. So these are the three kind of forging processes that we use. And the best example of one forging process is this quinning process. So quinning is a simple application of closed die forging in which fine detail in the die impression are impressed into the top or bottom surface of the workpiece. So you can see this is the starting blank. This is a simple sheet. We have impression on the upper die. We have impression on the down die. You can say. Now what happened? We apply load, and this impression just imprinted over the workpiece, or you can say the blank. And when you move this upper die upward, then the final product is here. This is the finished part, and the portion that is imprinted over this die is now is over this workpiece. So this is how quinning is done. Quinning is done, and this is the best example of this closed die process. Now these are the some components and tools which we use in forging process. So first one is the hammer. Hammer operate by applying an impact load on the workpiece. We use hammer in our daily life. This is the same hammer, and this is also called a drop hammer. And there are three kind of hammer we use in the forging process: the gravity drop hammer, the power drop hammer, and the hydraulic hammer. So the gravity drop hammer is something where the compression work or the energy is obtained with the help of gravity, with the help of the weight of the hammer. It is written here: achieve their energy by the falling weight of the heavy ram. The force of the blow is dependent on the height of the drop. And the power drop hammers basically accelerated the ram by pressurized air or steam, and same way the hydraulic hammer perform. So these are the components that we use in forging processes. And now this is a component that we want to make with the help of forging process. So this is the example. Now also we have presses. The difference between hammers and presses that the presses apply loads gradually here. The forces given the forging billet gradually, and this component is termed as presses. And in case of hammers, the force applies in form of impact. So this is not the impact force in terms of presses. So presses are of basically three types: mechanical presses, hydraulic presses, and screw presses. So we all know mechanical presses, how it works. They operate by means of eccentrics, cranks, or knuckle joints. And now hydraulic presses were basically run with the help of hydraulic arrangement. And the screw presses, it is basically screw mechanism. We use the tightening mechanism that we use to tighten a screw. On that basis, this works. And since we know screw process and hydraulic process, the speed can be controlled. Both screw drive and hydraulic drive operate at relatively low ramp speed. So these are the basic components that we use in forging process. And in next lecture we will start with the extrusion process. Okay, thank you.